Council D2nd of Roy. Council, has directed the CAO, and potentially the CBO to actually go to the hearing and state the position of the township. And in that position, I'm not sure I can say any more than that, thinking that it was in closed session. So, but I think you have a pretty clear idea from the open session what the position of council is.
Right.
Does that sound fair?
I just need to, for clarifications, is it's my lawyer that asked me for this for posturing for the meeting, to have all the ducks in a row that we can possibly have. And I just need to, so the CBO from the township will attend the tribunal meeting as well as Julia will attend.
Julie will, and we'll see about the CBO.
I'll attend as well.
And
I'll attend the hearing meeting, because it's,
Okay.
I'm gonna check in to see you.
And when is the meeting? It's in November now?
no, lawyer can't do November, engineer can't do January, so it's going to be spring of next year.
Okay, so we have lots of time to,
You get lucky, yeah, oh yeah, just more time.
which, I don't mean this to be, in any way disrespectful, but that won't hurt us, because it wouldn't hurt us to have a better idea of the legality of the wet road. And, whether we have a problem that we'd like to get solved before we get there.
Right, because my position was before that if I paid property taxes, I paid lot development fees for my existing residents. To find out now that we're in an unsafe area, you and I talked about, so I just wanna be clear though, to describe to my lawyer is the benefits you see by having Julia and Brad in attendance to the tribunal do what for me?
Other than they'll speak in support of.
Us.
Okay, Julie will talk to you directly.
Okay, you understand what I'm asking?
Yep.
Yeah. Because I just have to be able to translate it to my lawyer as she was seeking a resolution or a motion. And now I'm getting two people to attend to the tribunal. Is that a good thing? Is that what beneficial to us? That's.
You're not gonna get a resolution or a motion. This is our alternative.
I understand.
And that's the best we can.
Okay,
So Julie will call you tomorrow
okay,
and work out the details.
okay.
All right, and, I think that she's pretty clear on the position of council, and I think you're pretty clear on the position of council.
Totally am. As I said, the only problem we're gonna have is that if I obtain an S-28. And then all of a sudden it becomes a position of the township not issuing a building permit, then I'm gonna have a problem. Because like I said, the examples around me abound.
So I would use that as,
Opening?
my comfort. I said, apparently they've done it before, so, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks for your time.
All right, thank you very much.
And Julie will talk to you, and then they'll figure out some way of finding out when the hearing is and making sure that we have the right people there.
Right.
And don't be afraid, I'm sure you'll talk about, if you need to talk to the legal counsel or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'll,
She's more than happy to.
Perfect.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you again for your time.
No worries. Okay, staff report 32, recommendation from the Environment and Energy Committee. Patrick Garvey is here in the audience, and he just wanted to be here in case we had any questions around, or the council had any questions around the recommendation from the Energy Committee. All right. So Patrick's from Walter Petty and is the author of the letter from Walter Petty, right? Okay.
Yes,
Okay, so,
and we have Phil joining online too, just in case.
oh, right, sorry.
And he was the one who was at the previous meeting on
Yeah,
October 8th,
Phil-
the committee.
Phil Bradley's here. Okay. Julie, it's your report, go ahead.
okay, thank you, Mayor McGurry. The purpose of this report is to bring forward a recommendation from the Township's Environment and Energy Innovation Committee received at their meeting held on October 8th. Through this report, staff are recommending that the township participate in the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Community Building Retrofit Program, which would fund up to 80% of the cost to complete energy and greenhouse gas reduction feasibility studies for several township facilities. These studies will help the township understand how our buildings are using energy today, identify practical improvements to lower operating costs, extend the life of our assets, and reduce emissions over time, helping us to meet our township energy goals. The work would also support our long-term capital plans, sustainability goals, and position the township to apply for future capital retrofit funding programs. The Environment and Energy Innovation Committee reviewed this proposal that's included with the report received from Walter Fady and is recommending that council approve participation in the program. I do know that Patrick Darby and Philip Bradley are here today to answer any specific questions that council may have in relation to the benefits of this program.
Okay, so as a bit of background, some of this started from the discussion around the Mount Elgin Community Center. And the fact that the boiler in the Mount Elgin Community Center is 40-some years old. And that at some point, it probably was gonna die on us. And then we needed to know what we were gonna do, replacing like for like, or was that an opportunity to make some improvements or changes or whatever. And that led into a conversation about, well, who would know that sort of information and where would we go to, if we're considering retrofits, where would we go to, get that information? And in discussion with, Councilor Pickard and I had, with Patrick, the idea of, well, you could actually get those studies done, through the, Federation of Canadian Municipalities program, to kind of have you ready to do whatever you need to do when it happens. And usually what happens is if the boiler blows up in Mount Elgin Hall on Tuesday, it's probably in the middle of the winter and you need a pump reading on Wednesday. So you don't have 3 months to kind of do the study and all this sort of stuff. So trying to be a bit proactive. I think that's kind of where this came from. And that led into, well, what are the other buildings and what are the opportunities that are out there? So in the proposal, you will see, I think there's 10 buildings. And you don't have to do them all. It was just, we asked for a quote on all of the buildings and then let the council pick and choose out of that. The issue is, and December 19th, I think is the deadline for getting your application in. If you want this 80% funding for the basically kind of a in-depth study of the building. And so we've kind of picked a way, we've done some energy audits on how much electricity is being used, and we've done a couple of little blower door tests, but we haven't done any real heavy duty research. I mean, kind of looked into the walls here, the walls there, but so this would be a more in-depth, long-term plan. So, Councilor Pickard, did you want to add anything to that? So
Well,
the energy committee-
I think one of the keys is the program itself. But not only, we'll get information that we'll use for many years in the future, but 80% of the cost is being paid for. So what a great opportunity to take advantage of this program. And I don't say that's the only reason we're gonna do it, is to get 80%, but now's the time to do it, because chances are high that this won't repeat. And the time is short, to get an application in there. Walter Fady is a renowned and recognized, trusted, engineering firm that was agreed to do that. And as the mayor has said, we may not do every building. We might just do the major buildings. Because you look at here, some of our Fulls Hall, for example, would be $17,000 to leave it out. Is that money well spent? I don't know. Like, put 17,000 into putting up on the walls. That's the ones that are there. So anyway, they'll, as the report says, they'll do a full analysis of our usage. And give us an idea if we spend some money in the future, what kind of returns we can expect. So it makes a lot of sense to do it. And as far as budget goes, it's not going to hurt us. We put the money away. We've got $90,000 in our reserves under this committee, so we want to spend some of it.
So for council's awareness, the committee has not seen this report, like we saw the kind of program, but we didn't see the actual details. So they haven't actually gone through and said, we should do this building or not do that building. That would, I suspect, come at the next meeting. But, it's a case of putting all the buildings, then you can get a quote, and then you can say, okay, which ones make sense, which ones don't. So, and in addition, and Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong, if you apply for the money and then decide, no, we're not gonna do that building, there was no harm, no foul. You just say, no, we're not doing it, and you don't get the rebate. So I think that's, there's kind of two more steps along the way to decide which buildings get done or not. And if I understand correctly, we might do a couple of buildings, 2 or 3 buildings, and then see what the results look like. And that would then be an opportunity to say, yeah, we're not getting our money's worth, we're not going forward. So I think there's, I feel there's enough kind of comfort level in this that I'm not particularly worried. I would really like to do some out of a community center because I'd like to know what our options are for that building going forward. Because we know that it's gonna be a big bill to replace the heating system in that building when it comes. And quite frankly, I think we're on borrowed time. I'm a little, I mean, we replaced the furnace and I think the full install 5 or 6 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And what was that the smartest thing to do? I don't know, but we went and did it because that was our option. So anyway, comments, Councilor Buchner.
Is there a chance that this might be like the activity fund and it's oversubscribed in no time plan and you may not even get that money?
So we'll know that they'll set aside that money if they approve our application. And so it'll be and that's one of the reasons why I think we should put in all 10 buildings. And then if we decide we're only doing 5, great, we're still okay. If we put in for 5 and then want to do 10, we're not, right? So, and so we're kind of in a bit of a rush to get the application in. And then we can go back and scratch off anybody that we want as we go forward. So, Julie, go ahead.
I'll just add one thing. Also, we're not committed to do the work if we don't receive the funding.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is, some of this may be necessary for future grants from FCM. You may need to have a study done. And if I could get that study done by 80% payout, so we do the study in Mount Elgin Hall, I just use that as an example because that's the one I'm most concerned about. There may be a program where you could get funding to help pay for whatever kind of conversion or change or rebuild retrofit that you do there. So that's sort of where we're at this. Councilor Yip.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would agree that anytime you can get a $227,000 project done for spending $45,000 is probably a pretty good deal and we could probably get at it. What I understand from this report is that there are 3 goals to the study of each of our buildings. One being to lower emissions, 2 to reduce energy consumption, and to extend the life of our facilities. I have no problem with item 2 and 3, reducing energy consumption and extending the life of our facilities. I have much more of a problem with the lowering emissions thing. The more I read, the more I hear, the more I see about the carbon dioxide issue and greenhouse gas emissions, the less I'm convinced that it's actually a problem. The longer I look at this, the more I think we're being had. And I look at the county of Oxford having spent 13 million on greenhouse gas reduction measures already. And thinking, what could we have done with $13 million in terms of infrastructure, in terms of new fleet, in terms of a lot of things? I'm entirely unconvinced that we need to spend money on this. So if we're looking to increase our efficiencies and extend the life of our facilities, 100%. But I would caution strongly that we don't spend a whole lot of money working on greenhouse gas reductions.
Good. Well, big thing about council is you're, free to disagree or agree as you choose. So, other comments? Councilor Gillis.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, obviously doing capital planning and going through all the structures this year.
it would have been more ideal if it would have been done all at the same time, but you know, things come up when they come up. I do agree with Councillor Yitma that obviously I am for efficiencies as well. But that's efficiencies, no matter what it is, not necessarily switching out something because, you know, it's suddenly a better thing to do. It's basically the efficiency and in my mind, the almighty dollar. So I'm not necessarily opposed to this project. I think, you know, it's getting a little late in for timing to really think about it, but we want to get our application in, we should here in the near future. And I do like the idea of, you know, like listing all 10, see what it comes back at, and then obviously picking and choosing, perhaps moving forward.
Any other comments? Did you want to make any comments?
Yeah, I was just gonna, make a comment about the value of the program. So, David's example at the Mount Elgin Community Center. The really nice part about this, program is you can evaluate each individual system or lighting or walls or windows or whatever, component of the building. And look at a series of options. So you can look at, you know, what is a like for like replacement with the equivalence of what's there. And also 2 or 3 other options, and then you have a full evaluation of capital costs for each line item, operating costs for each line item, incentives available through Save on Energy, Enbridge, and or FCM for the capital replacement, and then, you know, energy reduction as well. This program doesn't mandate implementation of any of the measures as part of the program. So it's fully educational, and after the project's complete, you have it for information, but you're not obligated to implement anything. So it's quite beneficial that way.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, Councillor Becker.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion that when we receive this report and proceed. With the application,
so-
Walter Petty.
You're moving the recommendations in the report. You have a seconder. Councillor Yitma. And the motion would be resolved, Council of Township Surplus Doctor, receive report CEO 132/2025. Recommendation from the Environment and Energy Innovation Committee Buildings Retrofit Program, FCM, Green Buildings Pathway Feasibility Studies as information. And further, the council authorized participation in Canadian Federation of Municipalities Community Building Retrofit Program, Green Buildings Pathway Feasibility Study is outlined in the goal from Walter Petty. Attaches appendix 1 to this report, and further, the pending funding approval, the township share of the cost be financed from the Climate Change Reserve, and further, staff be authorized to collaborate with Walter Petty to finalize and submit the application to FCM prior to the December 19th, 2025 deadline. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. Thanks very much for being here, Patrick. Appreciate it. Sorry it took some time. Go ahead, Councillor Becker.
Yes, thanks for coming, Patrick. I appreciate all the work you're gonna put into this and look forward to seeing your report.
Very much
On
likewise.
another matter, we also got an estimate for our new building. Julie, whatever happened to that one?
I'm gonna have a follow-up kind of next steps report coming forward to the November 4th meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Right, thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Okay, report CEO 33, review of traffic permits. Julie, please.
Okay, thank you. The purpose of this report is to provide council with an overview of the township's current practice of issuing traffic permits for roadside ditches, culverts and road allowances. The township's been issuing a very small number of these permits each year for the last several years, usually 2 or 3, to allow licensed trappers to operate along township's roadsides, culverts and ditches. However, we have found upon review that there's actually no bylaw or policy that formally authorizes the township for this practice. Trapping in Ontario is regulated by the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry. Municipalities are not required to issue or approve trapping permits. Having discussed this with staff, with our work superintendent, with our drainage superintendent, and given the potential liability and public safety concerns associated with this, we are recommending that we discontinue this practice immediately as these permits expire. They will start to expire between the end of October and the end of December of this year. If the township has any issues with nuisance wildlife and roadside ditches, or culverts, our drainage superintendent is now licensed for trapping, and so he would do that work for us, and be covered by insurance. Or we could reach out to another professional for that work if needed. In summary, we're just trying to reduce the risk and liability to the township and align with best practices in this regard.
Any questions on this report? Council?
Do you anticipate any pushback on this at all?
I don't think so. I did mention to one individual that came last year that we were going to be doing a review of this. They didn't really say much about it. There's 2 individuals that I'll have to notify if council is supportive of this.
I'm just wondering if there might be some unauthorized activity that occurs after the expiration of these permits. And if we're incurring any liability as a result of that.
My opinion is that I think we have greater risk and liability by issuing the permits. If they're doing something that's unauthorized without our permission, that's really on them. They are required, by provincial legislation to have permission in property line, they're not renting or anything.
So I didn't actually understand this until very recently. That when we issue a license, we're basically issuing a license only for our own properties.
Right.
And so as soon as they go across the fence into somebody else's property, not our work. But if they're in a ditch or any municipal land, we've given them permission and therefore will completely be liable if they get hurt. And for $20 a year, it isn't worth it to me to give them permission to potentially get hurt. Somebody falls off a culvert and cracks their head. We gave them permission. We said it was okay. And so once I kind of understood where this was going, I was, yeah, let's really get this to council as quick as we can and get out of the business as quick as we can. Because I don't think $20 a year is worth taking on any liability. And I realize it's only for hunting and traffic. But if I'm walking down the road with my gun and trip over a rock in the, in the ditch, something goes wrong, hey, you gave us permission to be there. The township did. So I'm not quite keen to get out of this business as quick as we can. So, any further discussion on this? We have a motion now. Moved by Gillis, seconded by Wade, Council Township Surplus Officers Report CAO 33/2025, reviewing traffic permits in the township roads, ditches, culverts. As information and further, the council provide direction to staff discontinue the issuance of township traffic permits for roadside ditches and road allowances effective immediately. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. Bylaw enforcement third quarter, and Denny, it's yours.
Thank you, Mayor January. Nothing to add to the report. So again, if council has questions, you may answer them.
Okay, any questions from council? Seeing none. Little surprised that the clean yards keeps coming up in the fall. But anyways, is what it is, so. Councilor Pickard.
How many, I forget the word now, enforcement, letters have we issued? Yes.
Have that information. I don't know.
Just, seems to me the last report we had. 3 or 4 months.
Orders issued have been 8.
8?
Okay. Anything else in this report?
Just
Sure.
one thing to actually comment about, numbers keep coming in, this is till the end of September.
Yeah.
So this covers July, August,
Yeah.
September, which is kind of like the
Summer season.
heaviest time.
Yeah.
Generally for the months, so it should come down from into December.
Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, do we have a motion to receive this information? Moved by Brookner, seconded by Thurston. Result of Council of Township Southwest Fire Chief Report CL 52/2025 bylaw enforcement activity report third quarter 2025 is information. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Consent agenda, do we have a motion for the consent agenda? Councillor Yipman.
Move to note and file.
Note and file 1 to 14, Councillor Pickard, are you seconding that? Any discussion, anything you need taken out of? Which one and number, okay. Don't see it. Anyways, any discussion on those? Councillor Yipman.
I don't know if this is the one you were thinking of, item number 7, the one from Newmarket about the automated speed enforcement. That's been a big item in the news in the last week or two. I wouldn't support, personally wouldn't support the letter from Newmarket in that they are requesting that the program be modified to only include school zones. And from my standpoint, I'd like to see an automated speed enforcement in pretty much every village we have. And so I don't support the restriction just to school areas. I'm very disappointed to see the province taking the route that it is on this. So I don't know whether, and I didn't mention it as new business, I don't know whether we could send a letter on our own.
We can put it on new business, so. One I was wondering about, I thought was in here was, about, revamping the voting system. Number 2 with it, yeah. Electoral reform. I actually support the idea of, proportional representation. I know in a two-party system, you tend to get a democracy or like a majority, but other than that, you don't. So, but it's really not so much a municipal issue as it is a federal and provincial one. But anyway, Councillor Yipman, I think you made the motion to note and file. I'll leave another motion under new business. If you want to suggest that sending a letter in support of the ASC. We'll wait till we get there and you can define it. Okay, any further discussion on consent agenda items? Seeing none, all those in favor of note and file? Opposed, that's carried. Then we're down to accounts payable. There's a motion there, moved by Gill, second by Brookner, resolved that the following accounts be approved. Payment accounts payable October 5th to October 18th, $301,230.50. And payroll number 21, general $58,190.42 for a grand total of $359,420.92. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. Bylaws. The motion there for first and second reading thereof, moved by Becker, second by Thurston. And the reading would be?
With the following bylaw be read first, second, and third time and finally passed, bylaw 62/2025. Permanently stop open and close part of Henrietta Street, Beach Hill. And bylaw number 63/2025 to authorize agreement of purchase and sale to Truth Attack for the Henrietta Street.
Any discussion? This is first, second, and third reads. You only get one chance to vote on this. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, any notices of motion? New business. Councillor Yipman, did you want to suggest that council consider sending a letter to the province regarding our support for ASC or what? I'll do that.
Yeah, I would wonder if the council would support having staff write a letter and send it in support of ASE and have that also circulated to all 443 other member municipalities of Angel.
Good.
Second.
Good. And would it be direction to staff to say that I think the town indicated this earlier, that in fact, beyond school zone, but the areas, and I'm putting words in your mouth, so feel free to be quiet. Beyond just school zones, but the areas where the community feels that there's a need for, automated speed enforcement.
I would agree with that, and in the preamble to said recommendation that we include the fact that, something to the effect that, the policing authorities are not able to do patrols on as frequent a basis as necessary to control speeding in our villages.
And quite frankly, I think police have a lot of other work they could be doing. Particularly, given the increase in, rural theft over the last few months in rural areas across Southwest Ontario. So,
It seems to me that this is a move on the part of the province either to deflect attention or to, gain some votes somewhere. It just really doesn't seem to make any kind of sense.
well, I certainly don't think it's a cash is involved, but the only ones that pay are those who have volunteered to pay by driving too fast. So I'm completely, okay, so a motion to have staff send a letter, you seconded it, any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, that's carried, thank you. Council roundtable, so Councilor Thurston, you're first tonight.
All right, so I'll start off with Selfridge Hall. We're meeting again November 4th, and it's been pretty quiet there, not too much going on. In fact, there's not too much going on in the entire ward. Our next airport meeting is November the 27th. Now, the Engage and Inform Committee had their Walk for Hunger and Health just this Saturday at Lawson Track. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. It was so exciting and good for me to meet the other members or the members that were on the committee of the Nature Club. So it was just a beautiful day. We could have had more people show up, but in all, again, we'll try again. So with that, I'll pass it on to the next person. Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Ward 2, Councilor Yurka.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not a lot to report. Durham Center Hall Board meets tomorrow night to plan for their Christmas in the Village event, which is coming up on November the 29th. And it's going to be from noon until 2 or potentially 3 p.m. There will be a meal available at noon on that day, and also horse-drawn carriage rides. And so, looking forward to that. The Mount Elgin Hall Board is meeting on the 27th, so next Monday evening. And their next event is a Halloween party to be held presumably on the 31st. And that's going to start at 7:30 p.m. There's going to be some competition for best costumes and various age grades. And yeah, I'm sure the kids are looking forward to that as well. Next Long Point Region meeting is in 2 weeks' time. And I think that's about all I've got right now. Oh, the basketball nets are up at the multi-purpose court at the Mount Elgin Community Center. So thanks to Public Works for getting that done for us. And I am in the process of trying to get the lights painted on the pavement as we speak.
Enough, I was going to ask you about the basketball court tonight, the basketball net, so Councilor Trigger, please.
Very little to report. Good news, Dodge Line is now open over the 401 to Clark. Bad news, Clark is not paid. Yes. She will, they know what's not today. They weren't at our end.
Okay,
I went through. Anyway, that's it.
there was, barrels up on, couple of roads heading down there from the north, across on, Tarn today, so you couldn't get down to Clark.
No,
I'll check with Adam
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I thought it was supposed to be done this week, sorry.
yeah, maybe just drop me a line.
Okay, Councilor White.
Not a lot going on. We had that mock council meeting on Monday with the Mount Elgin school there. I believe it's noon, start time, is that correct? Okay. Upper Town's next Tuesday on the 28th. All board meeting on the 4th. Set up our Christmas decorations. There'll be some already set up because I believe there's rentals on the 1st and the 2nd for Christmas parties for people that are. Mitch Kirby made the comment that last year we had 63 rentals, 63 or 64 rentals at Golden Tone. So this is from November 1st till the end of February, every weekend, there's something going on at the hall. So this is where we make the majority of our
Bread and butter time.
bread and butter, so to speak, yeah. So there might be a few decorations put up for the first weekend in November. And that's it.
Good. And Councilor Burton.
Hey, in Brownsville on November the 7th, they're gonna have the Christmas tree lighting and then followed the next day by a Christmas craft sale and, and Santa's supposed to be there as well for the kids. We've finally completed the electrification of the gazebo, so that's gonna help with all the lighting and everything. We had one concern, and I think the mayor had received a letter about it too, is that the Pressy Road or Pressy Line in Cologne is quite a accident hazard place. We've had 2 in the last 2 weeks. One involved a school bus as well. Apparently people were coming from Tilsonburg. Cannot see the stop sign or completely ignore it or just zoned out and they go right through the stop line. Stop sign, so it's becoming a problem, so I'm not sure if you were in touch with Adam or talked to him, whether it's our bill. And whether it's our consideration or whether it's Bayonne Township, I know Ed's.
I think it's a county. I think they said it was a county because it's an intersection of county. Anyways.
Yeah,
so we talked to the county
but it's our road leading up to the county road, so does that mean that we can't put in extra stoplight or stop warnings?
We're gonna chat about this at our manager's meeting tomorrow morning, but yeah, the county owns a section of our road. I don't know exactly how far in, but I can chat with Adam about that, and we have reached out to OPP just to see if we can get the data about the incidents that have happened there over the last few years.
Because I know between Tavistock and Shakespeare, they just put in a new 4-way stop and the stop sign ahead actually has flashing lights that go all the way around, so it's very visible. Maybe that is something that county might consider putting in, because it's sooner or later, we're gonna have more deaths, and I know there was one when we were on the fire department, but the guy went right through it, and he didn't survive. So it's a hazard road because of all the trees and everything that are right close to the road, so. That's my report.
Good, thank you, and Councilor Gillis, next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good news is I heard Dodge Line's open, so now I can visit Jim faster over there in Sweetwater, so that's good.
So you need up there, chasing cow?
Yeah. Other than that, Parks and Rec working together with the Legion for their Halloween party, this coming Saturday, starting at 8 o'clock. Local DJ, Mr. one of the Bretts is the local DJ. So yeah, for your scariest costumes, and come one, come all. Also mentioning the Legion, they are working on redoing part of their parking lot today, so hopefully that will be taken care of by Saturday, so we'll see from there. Also wanted to mention for this year, I know the Beachville firefighters are gonna have open house on the 30th. For the first time, kind of a Halloween open house, see the place, and kids can bring their costumes if they want. They can scare the firefighters, that would be fine. So we'll see how that goes. Just be interesting night for the community there. And I did have one concern I was asked to bring up to the mayor on our county road coming into Beachville. On Zora Line, there are signs saying avoid engine brakes, but on Beachville Road coming in from the west, there are not. And it's been noted, it's been more heavily used, those engine brakes, in the last couple of weeks, and I wondered whether the county could possibly put some signage up there.
Good.
Or more. That's it.
Great, so is that, the road's not open, the bridge isn't finished yet, so.
No.
That's also creating a problem, so.
There's some angst.
So, yeah, as soon as they get that done, the better, but I'll find out, I was gonna ask for that as well tomorrow, so. Okay, from my perspective, a couple of things, first one was, the conservation's, comment about a great day on Saturday, it was absolutely fabulous day, to be out and walking the Boston Trail. I'm really impressed with what a great job the Nature Club does, keeping that trail open and I realized that they put the bench in because they realized that they need places for people to sit. But, I think they've done a really good job. I'm really impressed by it. And we encourage you to, and Saturday was such a beautiful day, just to be out on the trail. It was, I really enjoyed it. So, and they, raised $227, which I dropped off at, Operation Sharing today. And a bunch of food, and then I brought the rest of the food. Councilor Buckner, you'll see a black bag there on Nicole's, used to be Nicole's desk. If you'll take that to the sharing cupboard at, Brownsville, if you don't mind. I did reach out to, Deb Riley, and, she didn't get back to me, so maybe just haven't checked her emails yet, or the email didn't go where it's supposed to. But anyway, so there's, I kind of went through and kind of divided it out into, different files and, so if you don't mind taking that, I appreciate that. Pressy and Cloden, Road. Interestingly enough, there's been a stop sign on Pressy Road going from Tillsonburg, when you come to Cloden, for at least 40 years.
Yeah.
Probably longer than that. And so for 40 years, people have known they're supposed to stop there. And now apparently a stop sign doesn't mean stop, it means breeze through. And I have noticed, just having it out, the number of people that do not stop at stop signs. And, the other day I happened to be in Mount Elgin, on Mount Elgin Road heading east. And a person came down the hill, Mount Elgin Road east heading west, went right around the corner onto 19. And, I mean, I realized you got a second or two to look. But, like, they slowed down, but they didn't come anywhere close to a stop. I thought, holy mackerel, that's a pretty, in my mind, that's a pretty dangerous intersection for not looking. And I was kind of caught by surprise, but they didn't actually stop. To the point that I thought, I should have written down the license plate number. But they were gone long before I came. Anyway, so I think we were having a real problem with that, and I see it, even today in Woodstock, somebody went right through a red light. To the point where I now wait when the light turns green to make sure nobody's going through before I proceed. Which is, the other thing, that, of course, happened today was that, GM announced that, they wouldn't be making any more brake drops in Ingersoll. And, the plant would not necessarily be sold or closed or anything, it just couldn't operate. And so that's like 1,200 employees laid off, something like that. And it'll be everybody, like right through to the office staff and janitors and all that, it'll be a few people, I suppose, but, vast majority. So, well, it's a big issue for Ingersoll, it's also an issue for us, and so I did chat with Brooke just, before the meeting. About maybe, she could have a discussion with the town treasurer. And kind of find out what the financial impact is, because it's gonna affect 2026 budget. And, significantly, and I think it would be helpful for council to understand, the impact that's gonna have. And, I don't actually remember the exact, what they call vacant or whatever, industrial rate. But, if Brooke could look that up and kind of bring us a very brief, this potential next year. Because it, is a major, tax, provider to the township. Whether it goes to Ingersoll or not, we're still gonna get only our share, so. Anyways. So I know Ingersoll's concerned about it, but, I think we need to be as well, so. And other than that, I didn't have anything else, county council is tomorrow, so. Oh, one other thing, library board meeting today, the budget, meeting, they, ended up with a budget of about 9.5%, so it'll be interesting to see what the county says, the 9.5% increase in the budget. And it basically finishes getting Hawks in the run up and running, with the new vehicle. So. We'll see whether council will support that or not. That's one of the bigger costs, there's a couple others, but that's one of the biggest ones. Anyways, that's the roundtable. We now move into closed session. And we have a motion to rise, we're going to close, move by Pickering.